I agree. Skywrath now bringing a lot of nuke damage on the board as well. You do have Abaddon to remove the silence, at least from one of your important heroes, but Sky is now again another difficulty for this Bane to get that full duration Fiend Script off. And with this Gyrocopter now brought up to the field, you don't have a straight up combo with this Gyrocopter, but I feel like players are still valuing the Gyrocopter as a solo hero despite not having Ogres or Ios to pair up with this Gyrocopter in the lane. So you have a potential fighting support in your lane currently when you look at CIS Rejects lanes, which they possibly could be as they are, though there's a bit of flexibility here with the Kunkka and the Spirit Breaker if you want to move them around between their core and support roles. And obviously you could just put Sky mid too if you feel like you need to get this snowbally hero very early on. And that all just applies for this Gyrocopter.
Yeah, and the Gyro, the main thing is he does so much damage and is actually somewhat of a deny pick from V Gaming, who would be needing a hero that does insane amounts of physical and magical damage. Something like a Luna, like a Drow Ranger does come to mind, but those heroes, they would need to play a little bit more aggressive to open up the map in the beginning to kind of stop the advance of CIS Rejects, because looking at these heroes from CIS Rejects, you're gonna get hunted down 10-15 minutes into the game. The hunt will start, and V Gaming, they again go with a hero that's not gonna be doing that much damage. It is good against the Kunkka overall, but to be honest, looking at the magic damage here from CIS Rejects, this Timber, if he's not protected by the Abaddon, he will die for sure. It doesn't matter how tank you are, do you have a hood or not, the Mystic Flare will kill you. So V Gaming again going with a relatively defensive hero, so their plan here is to delay the game by their sheer tankiness and force, and it's actually a solid approach, but their carry is gonna have to do a lot of heavy lifting here.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you're looking at this lineup, do you go for something like a Medusa? What kind of a late game hero do you want for V Gaming? Because that's one way they could approach it. They've got the Bane, the Abaddon. They already know they want to stretch this game forward. Timber are going to be making early space with the Invoker. So if this Invoker goes Quaswex, it means we're going to get a late game carry from V Gaming. You could go for something that has more mid game potential. But what would you go for if you were V Gaming here? You have the last pick as well.
So there's a few possibilities here. I think Drow, Medusa, Sniper, those are the type of heroes that you want to get. You will be protected by your teammates from the Spirit Breaker, not to get close to you, and you just need to do a lot of damage from the back. So we see they ban out the Medusa, because the other two that I mentioned, they can still kill them, right? But the Medusa is kind of tough given the mana shield. Still, I would like to think that V Gaming, they need to approach this one with positioning now, because sheer brute force with their carry not going to be possible. They need to approach it with positioning. So Drow, Sniper, those are the heroes that I'm looking towards.
5 seconds
Yeah, I guess Sniper could work. We did see a Sniper game yesterday where the Gyrocopter just basically wanted to rush straight on top of the Sniper. You wanted to close in the gaps and just stack as many heroes as you could on top of the Sniper, prevent him from shooting anybody, force him on the move. But they were always like, well, this guy's going to stand his ground, so let's just stack 3-4 heroes on top of him. They did have a Beastmaster in that game, but in this case we have a Morphling. Morphling could turn into an ally Spirit Breaker, and CIS Rejects are going to have a pretty fun game. There's a lot of loud voice lines in the back being played.
Yeah, I don't know how you kill this hero.
Yeah, it's hard to kill this hero.
Invoker needs to rush the Spirit Vessel, and I think this is a Drow game. I don't know. You have that hero can actually cut through the Morphling, given that you ignore all of his armor with the piercing shot. Morphling is really good because they want to put it against the Timbersaw. I want a hero that's not gonna die, and Morphling generally shouldn't die against the Timbersaw. They both get to level 6, so you have 3-point in Morph. You're gonna be okay. So now V Gaming, they have a lot to think about here, but I think a hero that can push out here really okay, it's gonna be a Luna. I would still want them to help a little bit with the early pushes, maybe come into a fight if the Timbersaw is being gone on with this Luna. If the A2000 plays too passive and just waits for his timing, it will be delayed quite a lot, because CIS Rejects, they just have so much aggression going their way.
They do. With this Luna, you have this Medusa-ish type hero. You're able to stretch in towards the late game. But I think mid game is where you want to start taking an approach onto CIS Rejects, considering this Morphling Gyrocopter. Well, Gyrocopter at least support in this game, but with this Morphling, he's just going to get stronger and stronger. He also gains the benefit of the ally Flak Cannon, so you have one really nasty Morphling for this game for CIS Rejects. And their draft looks like they've played this before. very experienced players. We've highlighted the fact that this is kind of like the ex-Navi, VP, EG being picked up together. Very experienced stacking together. And same thing was also said by their manager when I was talking with him during the course of the first week, that they put a lot of trust in this lineup, and especially, I think our eyes are also going to be on Depressed Kid in the mid lane, on Kunkka. What can he establish, and how can V Gaming step up their game against this talented team of CIS Rejects?
I actually look at the V Gaming's lineup, and there is a good path for them to win the laning phase super hard, and then kind of dodge that 10 to 15 minute mark of the CIS Reject being super strong. The way you do this is with the Bane completely leaving all of the experience to the Timber. So maybe you get level 2. You allow the Timber to get level 4 fast so that he has all 3 of his spells, 2 in the reactive armor. And then Bane goes towards the Luna and they try to punish the Spirit Breaker and the Skyrat Mage. If they are able win 2 side lanes with that, the mid lane is pretty much lost. You should just leave that one be. If they're able to do that, they can delay CIS Rejects in the mid game. As I said, 7, 8 to 15 minute mark. That's where they're gonna be on the aggressive. If V Gaming are able to do that, they can win this game, but it's not that easy to do, especially because there is a position 5 Gyro, which is one of the best heroes at bringing down the Timber Saw, so it's not going to be the easiest to leave him alone. But I do see a path to victory here for V Gaming, and I'm looking towards his Bane to make that happen, being the X factor.
I agree. There's potential, but there's a lot of experience going up against, and I think everybody would feel like CIS Rejects is going to be a no-brainer pick here because they haven't lost a single map so far. They haven't lost a single series. And the fun fact, actually, if anybody has been paying attention to Eastern Europe, which I hope you viewers have because these games have been really good so far, CIS Rejects, 3 out of 4 of their games have been comeback stories against Nemiga in both games, and the first game against Bait. Yes, Bait almost won a map. Would you believe? Would you believe that? Still, when you put it that way, when you look at it that way, we might get a strong start from V Gaming unless CIS Rejects have learned from their mistakes. And a pretty interesting ward placement here in mid.
Yeah, Arrow can't really make out where it is.
He's got no idea where it is. He knows there's a ward down at mid. But if you're going to put the sentry down in the river, yeah, they're just pinging and guessing right now. There's like 3 possible options. It's probably here, it might be here, it might be here. And that's their own observer ward placed down. So no sentry, but at the same time, Laze is going to take a bit of a beating here from FNG and Roger. Timbersaw has leveled up Timber Chain first, so they know they have the right-click potential to push this Timbersaw out of the lane, but Depressed Kid will charge forward. And TA2000 actually manages to take away that 1 bounty rune away from the Spirit Breaker, so make that still a 2 for 2 with the bounty trade.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned the CIS Rejects made the comeback, so that is somewhat also how we are thinking this game will go. A laning phase, V Gaming might win. Then in the early mid game, CIS Rejects should push the issue, but if they're not able to, V Gaming will hit the timing. Still, even if V Gaming hits the timing, it doesn't mean that they will win, because CIS Rejects, they have this mobility around the map, and they can definitely outmaneuver their opponents in the later stages of the game. So there are multiple points of the game where CIS Rejects are gonna be strong. Same for V Gaming, but I still think that V Gaming's draft isn't better, and I'm looking at CIS Rejects as the better team. So we'll see if we'll see a comeback again, which would be quite nice. Most of the games that you and me have casted have been relatively one-sided.
They have been relatively one-sided. I agree on that. Like, still, even if these games have had their action-paced moments, they've had their stories, but they've all ended up with the same direction. So if this were to be the first series inside the course of 3 weeks, for a game for us to cast that might have a comeback story, we'll see if it is CIS Rejects who pull it off again in the 3rd series in a row. Meanwhile, looking at this mid matchup here, Kunkka's doing a great job of punishing this Invoker already early on, as you're supposed to. Invoker hitting that level 3 is going to become a lot harder to push him out of this lane. But Depressed Kid, as already mentioned during the draft, the manager, Feel My Pain, has been highlighting this guy, that he's a very talented player. You want to keep your eyes open on what this guy can bring out to the table.
Yeah, and for now he's doing a really solid job, as you mentioned. Sure, the level 2 Quas is gonna be annoying, but a level 2 Tidebringer, I kind of feel like it's gonna be even more annoying. So I'm curious to see here for how long Hayes can stay in this lane. He's probably not gonna be getting any help. I think it would be a big mistake from V Gaming if they focused on the mid lane because they know.
Nice catch from Depressed Kid here, but Hayes does have Tornado, Cold Snap available. Doesn't extend the limit under the tower. He knows his limits. If you go under the tower and start getting hit by Cold Snap, that's going to hurt a lot, but great trading here.
Top lane?
Lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Okay. Nothing gonna happen there on Toha and TA2000. I like how they're playing. They're playing aggressively, and that's what you need to do. If you're just staying in the back, allowing the Skyret Mage to constantly poke you, it will be getting all of your region out. But the Luna and the Abaddon are very strong. Level 1, level 2, level 3 heroes.
I wouldn't say. I wouldn't necessarily say on this Abaddon. As you can see, he drops very low there with just a quick nuke there from Roger and Pasha. But at least the Luna is strong. She's got a lot of armor, a lot of HP, but Abaddon seems like a very squishy support. As we talked about that Orb of Venom, you don't have the chasing capability, so you're just running at them with a Photic Shield. And right now he's been taking some heavy hits.
They're having a sound, but look at this in the mid lane. The Depressed Kid is really just being super obnoxious to this Invoker. Yep, bullying the Invoker, and to be honest, we are just standbys and we're looking at it, and we should be feeling ashamed of ourselves, T-Panda, and doing nothing about it.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we need to call some help, because that mid lane, even though this Invoker is taking a beating, as said, he will take the brunt. He will take the beating for himself, keep himself in the lane. But you gotta be careful for that level 6 on that Kunkka, or even the 3rd point in Tidebringer, because that's already hurting a lot on this Invoker with that 2nd Tidebringer slashing on this Invoker. Blaze's Courier does get hunted, and Arrow looks to be first blood potentially here. FNG's got the Rocket Barrage with the right clicks on the Bane. Nightmare will be used up, and he's able to escape for a moment. Top lane though, TA2000 also forced under the tower. V Gaming having a lot of their heroes drop below HP. No kill yet. Still no first blood.
Yeah, so we can see that the lanes aren't looking too great for V Gaming in terms of CS. I think they should be aware of this, and they might start changing things up right now. The Timbersaw should be self-sufficient at this point. You can't really stop the Morphling from farming with the Bane himself, so I think it's time for this Bane to start rotating to the top lane. It just comes down to it now. CIS Rejects are they gonna see it coming or no, or if Arrow will even think about it, considering he doesn't have the boots, and catching people in the top lane isn't gonna be the easiest thing to accomplish.
Yeah. So the trading potential against the Spirit Breaker is pretty limited. Already has a fluffy hat too, so he's got some extra HP for himself to work with. And Bane decides to TP bottom, so they're still going to try and stack up with a 2v2. Gyrocopter completing the pull. You have Kunkka farming in the jungle, trying to get that level 6, potentially maybe even Surprise. He's using the Torrent to stack the camp, so good old trick. That's something for your pub games if you're playing Kunkka. It's a good thing to remember, using Torrent. It's able to stack the camp. Abaddon taking a huge amount of damage here from Pasha and Roger. It might just be the Spirit Breaker who goes down in the end. TA2000, he's looking for the angle for the Lucent Beam, but he's getting blocked by Roger. Roger will be able to tank that, and Spirit Breaker going for the TP back home. Get his HP back up, and Toha survives with 50 HP.
Yeah, I like how TA2000 is playing this lane. It's a bummer that the Spirit Breaker didn't die, considering that now Antoha will be a dead guy just because of the charge revision, and finally we get our first blood. But I like how the Luna is playing. He went 2 points in Lucent Beam, understanding that his team is gonna be needing some help in terms of damage, and Lucent Beam really strong, but now he might be in trouble as well.
Yeah, Roger's still got plenty of mana to go with. If one good bash from Pasha, there we go, that's gonna be it. Double kill for Roger. First with the Spirit Charge vision to get 1 kill, and then follow up on the second. TA2000 has been dealt a blow.
And FNG is already around the mid lane. The scan was used, but Invoker is being hunted. Hayes, is he really this close? He needs to be very careful. If the X connects, he could be losing his life easily, but Arrow is in the vicinity. I like how the Invoker is playing. He's playing in a very defensive position, understanding that he could be hunted. But I don't like that Arrow is here. He doesn't bring that much to this one, unless they are already gonna go for the Invoker now.
Might provide his life. FNG trying to bait for Depressed Kid. Only got 1 point in X mark. That's a very short cast range. So you're going to have to close in the gap with a Lucky Torrent. Maybe with a rocket from FNG. But at least Hayes is able to keep the Kunkka away and forcing this fight. So at the same time, now it's a 3 versus 1. Potentially on the Gyrocopter. Torrent is going to be landing on top of Arrow, on top of Abaddon. They get the kill on FNG. And Depressed Kid doesn't get the angle for the Tidebringer. So Arrow's going to live a little bit longer. But right now, X-Mark bolt. Is it going to connect? No, it's not.
He was missing mana there, and now he could die.
He's being chased by 4. Laze is there. Chakram slow into the Nightmare. And with the Cold Snap, that's going to be a dead Kunkka. V Gaming, even if they sacrifice 4 heroes for this rotation, it did credit them with 2 kills.
Yeah, CIS Rejects kind of going a little bit too aggressive there. FNG baiting his Kunkka into his death. Kunkka missing two mana points there to use the boat. Usually you want to use the boat 1 second after the X was used, and the boat will always connect. But this time around it's not going to be that good. Meanwhile, FNG in the mid lane, he's going to be fine. Gyro, way too hard to go on with the damage that he can do.
CIS Rejects still holding the net worth lead with 2 of their cores. Otherwise, it looks like it's pretty even on the board. Downside is the Luna, who is 6th right now, holding the back of the line of all the cores in the game. Hasn't finished her Mask of Madness yet. Would like to at least have a Morbid Mask while moving towards into the jungle. She does get to farm this lane, but at the same time, if Pasha starts to play aggressive, if he disappears from the lane, Luna's not really going to feel safe even under her own tower. So Luna might just have to start rotating towards the triangle. Is there any stacks in here, by the way? It doesn't look like there's anything stacked in the jungle currently. So it's just a plain fresh jungle.
And only now is he going to get a point in Moonglaze. I kind of feel from the build of TA2000 that he expected. Okay, poor guy. Poor guy.
There used to be an Abaddon there.
Yeah, but I still looking at this Luna, it kind of looks to me like TA2000 he wanted to fight in the top lane. 3 points in Lunar Blessing is gonna make a, let's say, 2-man rotation towards the top lane very strong. But he didn't get much help, and now that Lunar Blessing is mostly going to be used to farm the woods, where he would like more points in Moonglaves, which he's going to start getting now. But CIS Rejects getting out of the laning phase super strong. I think this timing they're going to hit fairly soon. It's going to be very, very dangerous for V Gaming, and they'll have to get themselves together, which will give more time to CIS Rejects to kind of get farm. If Laze, on the other hand, continues to pressure the bottom lane, he could even be the target once the Skywrath Mage gets his level 6, which he is very, very close to right now.
He does. It does look like the Hood is now ready with the Timber Saw, so he's able to soak up a little bit of that magical damage, plus the resistance on top. That will make it a bit harder for CIS Rejects to kill this Timber Saw, but still, they have more than plenty of damage to apply. There's a lot of burst, there's a lot of sustain, there's a lot of nuke.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
And we can see that CIS Rejects are increasing their lead, not even by pushing towers, not by killing, just by playing the map. Given that V Gaming, they know they can't get many kills. Now they're gonna try to go for Pasha, but this is probably the hardest kill on the map. Okay, next to the Kunkka skill, still the Skywrath Mage. That could be a good one.
It could be, yeah. They secure the DD rune, and that's gonna be a kill for Hayes. Also means that he's gonna get some earn charges there. He uses 1, gains 2 for it.
And he already has a vessel.
Yep,
Hayes has a vessel. It's being brought out, so very soon V Gaming could go for that potential smoke to bring down the Morphling. He has been having a free game, though even the Kunkka would be a good go. That's one of the better items to bring down the Kunkka as well. Any strength hero for that matter. So we'll see what they'll do. They'll go for a smoke, and it seems like they're searching for the Morph with this one.
Same thing for CIS Rejects. They're also recognizing the threat here, making their way towards bottom. This could be a 4 versus 3 fight if they collide at the same time. So what does Ramses want to do? Does he play bait? Is he just going to hide under the tower? They're actually going to run into them, and Depressed Kid's going to get nightmared. Arrow, there's a rocket onto Hayes. They're targeting the Invoker. They're leaving the Bane be. If they can get rid of this damage, it could be a good one. Ramses targeting the Bane at the same time. Depressed Kid trying to get some angles. He's farm to farm, but FNG's gone too deep. CIS Rejects will lose a hero for this. Or not. Or not. Tomato says no.
Okay, they're at least gonna lose a hero, but V Gaming are not gonna be the ones getting the kill. It's gonna be the neutral camp now, kind of contesting the amount of kills on both of these teams. So 3 for CIS Rejects, 3 for V Gaming, and 1 for the neutral creep. So they are quite close here, T-Panda, and they could be the ones getting the lead. But V Gaming, this started off really well for them, considering that the Bane got that first sleep out with the Kunkka not being able to connect with the Axe. It gave the time for the Abaddon to come. When the Abaddon is in position, CIS Rejects, they can't get the kill. They need to use their mobility. They need to be faster. They were, but ever since that sleep came out, that fight was just over. You're not going to be getting any kills. You could just get baited into a bad spot, which did happen. And V Gaming now, they get a tower, and this is quite good for them, opening up the map at a timing where CIS Rejects could be going for kills.
Yeah. I'm totally on the same page with you here, getting that bottom tower, opening up the map, getting more space, more freedom for the Luna to farm, because if that bottom tower is not taken early enough, it makes the Luna's game so hard, because you're not able to utilize these bottom camps on the Radiant side of the jungle to add into your farming pool. And right now, they're even pressuring the mid-tier 1 tower with TPs coming in from CIS Rejects. They're ready to take this fight. Lays in the front line. Tornado will connect onto the Kunkka. The boat is going to be available. EMP is going to burn out that mana pool, though. Still has stick charges, still has bottle charges. And that tower continues to take a beating. Spirit Breaker charging in onto Haze. He's going to be very alone if he does go in. We'll leave him be for now. Still continuing with this pressure. CIS Rejects can't seem to contest. Roger gonna get hit by the tornado. EMP is there. Timber Chain with the Chakram. That's a dead Sky. Tower also down.
Yeah, I'm loving this one from V Gaming. They have defensive supports, but you're playing aggressive, and that's basically how you do play defensive supports. They're not going to be able to help you if they're not close to you. If you're going around trying to find pickoffs with these guys, not going to be happening. But when you get together, then the Abaddon can always be in a good position and help your team. And now CIS Rejects, when they see V Gaming, are going to be spreading out. They're going for a charge, and Arrow, he is a target, but can they really kill him?
And they're going to kill this Bane. Big question. Nightmare is there. And now Pasha's gonna be able to get out of that Nightmare as FNG takes it for himself, and they're gonna Fiend Script this guy. But they can't see the Bane. They can't see the Bane, so they can't cancel it. And Haze is looking for additional targets, but there's nobody there. They're gonna cancel the TP from FNG. I think that was a bit of a panic move there, too. Not sure if they even saw the Invoker in the vicinity there, but bit of a brain fart almost as the gyrocopter gets taken out from play. And one thing I do want to highlight, which is happening outside of this, despite CIS Rejects losing that mid tower, look at Kunkka's CS, look at Morphling's CS. Even if the Invoker has 3 kills, Quick Vessel built up, the Invo is 2,000, almost, 2,000 net worth behind this Kunkka, and Morphling is way ahead of this Luna too.
Yeah, and we can see that. Yeah, we can see that both teams are kind of having some damage problems with bringing down heroes. It took them such a long time there with the 2 supports to finish off the gyro. Invoker did come in. You mentioned FNG's TP out. I guess he was just being optimistic. You know, you're hoping. Hope dies last, but it seems like it took him down with him. Anyways, CIS Rejects, they're not looking to fight here. They're looking to farm. And considering that V Gaming weren't pressuring that much, and probably CIS Rejects are aware that they're ahead, they don't want to be fighting right now. They know that the late game is going to be theirs. But when it comes to hitting the timing first, it's going to be V Gaming. And I feel like CIS Rejects with just a 2k gold lead, I'm not sure how well they're going to be able to repent that one. They'll definitely be taking some structural damage once the Luna is ready to fight. And that's going to be like in 3-4 minutes once the BKB does come out.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there's still a couple items that CIS Rejects want to have on both the Kunkka and the Morphling. Wonder if they want to go for a disarm as well. They're going to try and kill this Timber Saw. He's already popped the hood. And with the shield from Antoa, this Abaddon took 100 damage from your both Sky combo.
Yeah, he's not gonna be going down. CIS Rejects, how you play this one is by split pushing with the Spirit Breaker, making sure that the lanes are out pushed, and then when you see the Abaddon on the map, that's when you make your move. But top lane Haze in some trouble, or is it actually FNG that might be going down?
I think FNG is just tanking another bullet here for Ramses to get out, so Gyrocopter being another kill here for V Gaming by the looks of it. Tornado into the air, that's gonna be the end of FNG. But they've just been farming all this time. Like, Roger and Pasha, though, they smoke up towards top. And I think they want to catch the Luna off guard. They might be able to pull it off. They've all moved away. They thought there's nobody there anymore because they thought they backed out. He's just going to charge straight onto the Luna. TA2000 going to get pushed backwards, and he's gone. CIS Rejects, I think they played out really nicely with the FNG bait because V Gaming thought that they're no longer there. They just backed themselves out. You guessed it wrong. And Antoa walks into Pasha, walks into Roger, silence with the charge. Arrow is there. Nightmare used onto the Spirit Breaker. Lazy thinking about going back in. He's got the Chakra, now forcing them away. But really just trading hits. No real fight here.
Yeah, I really love that one from CIS Rejects. I think they're getting used to how V Gaming are playing. V Gaming, they respond once and they disperse. They respond, then they disperse. And the CIS Rejects, when they see them responding, they try to make something happen on the other part of the map. But now they're like, okay, you want to disperse? Well, let's make something happen on the part of the map where you connected, because we know that they're gonna be getting away from that one. And those were the patterns that V Gaming were playing with, and CIS Rejects, they finally read them. But here, Gyro again in some trouble.
I don't think they're going to be establishing much with these gyro kills because, like you said, they still hold. No, they've doubled their net worth lead during this time, and now in trouble is Arrow. Arrow's being targeted by Pasha. Pasha stealing a heck of amount of damage here onto this Bane, and they've lost Antoa. They've also lost Roger. Lays, he's being kited around, running around, trying to get the kill in the gyrocopter, but this guy just refuses to give in. And meanwhile, Ramses has taken Arrow. Morphling finding a kill, and still Depressed Kid hunting down Hayes. Look at that movement speed difference between these two. He's already caught up and looking for the Luna. That's the target. They leave Hayes. There's the X mark. The boat's available. Oh, trying to go for an Eclipse bait there, secondarily there from TA2000, but doesn't use it. But with that fight, it's a 1-for-2 for CIS Rejects, and the net worth is just growing and growing towards Radiant.
The Abaddon is your most important hero. This is kind of weird for Antoa, given that the Abaddon you usually want to be in front, right? But this is one of those games where with the Abaddon you don't want to show yourself. You should be playing like an Oracle, like a Wisp. Antoa, he knows those heroes well, so hopefully he does recognize the potential of himself. If he doesn't have the burrow time, if he's the one getting caught, there is just no one to save his teammates from the heavy damage coming out from CIS Rejects. And the second he went down, the fight was over for V Gaming. It's good for them that they managed to get out without many losses, and they will be able to delay the game a little bit until the Luna gets the BKB, and there it is. That's the timing for V Gaming. It just comes down to it now. Have CIS Rejects gotten enough of an advantage now to deal with the BKB Luna?
I think it really does come down to the team fight. How can they lock them down? Can they find the right targets? Can he kill the right targets? Ramses in the river. There's no strength being used. Oh, he's going to morph into agility. Arrow wants to close in the gap. They got to do something to save this Timber Saw. Nightmare saved there secondarily. They got the shield from Antoa, but they instantly spot Arrow, and they're going to charge the backline as well. The BKB will be used, but the constitute Depressed Kid going to go dish in some right clicks onto Lays. They got the chase onto FNG. The Fiend Script's going to be there too. And here comes TA2000 with the Eclipse, but they instantly break the charge with the charge onto the Fiend Script, and Depressed Kid is just tanking the entire duration of the Eclipse, and the double kill does go for V Gaming, and onto the Spirit Breaker they go. He's got 5 seconds for his charge. Does he manage to get out? Cold Snap is off cooldown too. He doesn't even get to use it. And make that 3 for V Gaming. And like you said, can they deal with the Luna? Doesn't look like they can.
Yeah. First fight, they couldn't, even with the 9-second BKB on the Kunkka. I thought that was actually going to make a difference, but the Arrow, 3 seconds of the Fiend's Grip actually going through before the Bara actually made that charge to cancel it. So that delayed a lot of the damage on the Kunkka, and Morphling still not having a damage item. Ramses, he couldn't dish out the damage while the Kunkka was being controlled. So CIS Rejects, I think now they need to be on the back foot a little bit. They understand how they can play their lineup. They are quite mobile, and I think how they have been playing between 10 and 12 minutes into this game, where they are just trying to make something happen on one part of the map and then go for the other, I think it's the way to go now, considering they're going for a full 5-on-5-man team fight. It's not gonna be easy to win those. It's not impossible, T-Panda, but it's way easier for V Gaming, and you know that the late game should be favoring you.
And as long as they take fights like that, where the Timber Saw is basically baiting out 1, 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4 abilities, and then you have Nightmare, and you have the Photic Shield from the Abaddon, fights are looking pretty good for them, because they used Ghost Chip. They used a lot of stuff to try and blow up the Timber Saw. They thought that this is an easy Timber kill, but weren't expecting V Gaming to be there in force on the other side of the tree line. So they really fell for that bait, and I don't think CIS Rejects wants to make the same mistake again. And this is a smart call. They're going to sack their tier 2 tower to secure an Aegis for themselves.
Yeah, smart call from both teams, I have to say. V-Gaming, though, not understanding that the Roche is being brought down. The thing is, they might go for a smoke now, but it will be too late. You see your timing as V-Gaming, and you go for the bottom lane to push the issue, right? You want CIS Reject to smoke into you, make that mistake, and give you a big team fight. CIS Rejects, a smart team would farm, but an even smarter one would take the Roche. Now with these 5 minutes, they might actually dodge the bullet, dodge the timing where the Luna is strong, and with Ramses having a damage item, it's gonna be tough in the next team fight for V-Gaming if it is on equal terms.
Can take a quick look at the graph as well so far. It has continued to be on the side of CIS Rejects throughout the start to finish. I'll at least finish if we say 21 minutes, but the game is still ongoing. Quick update on items too. You can see that there's an E-Blade now for the Morphling. That might make a huge difference. We've got the shotgun now to blow up Bane. Get the Fiend Script hero out of the way. Morphling though, he's got his strength morph out, so Ramses is very cautious, very prepared.
No mana, they need to back
up. Got the Gyrocopter though, so that's a fast kill. Arcane Rune's available. Laze is gonna go and take it. Morphling doesn't get to use it at all. Now they got the Eclipse with the Fiend's Grip and Conquer with the VKB. At least he won't be taking any damage from the Eclipse, but still he's going to take all of these right clicks and it gets the boat buff, but still dies in the end, so it doesn't make much of a difference here. CIS Rejects on the run with 2. Ramses and Roger making an escape.
Yeah, the second that Ramses lost all of his mana, that fight was over, and I really didn't like that CIS Rejects thought they could force the issue. This Aegis, it should be allowing them to stop the timing from V-Gaming, not to destroy their enemies, but TA 2000 is some trouble still.
Yeah, they don't want to give this one for free because there's an Aegis still on the Morphling and they want to look to kill the Luna, but the BKB comes out just in time. They got the disarm as well. The cooldown will fall over on top of this Abaddon. Laze, he doesn't know Roger is invis right next to him. Silence comes out in the Timber. Ramses is baiting with 1 HP. Chakrum's there. Oh, the Sun Strike's there too, but it doesn't quite land. Ramses playing with his life, but he's making it a stylish way out.
Yeah, that was a that play worked out well. I was like, why are they doing this? But the idea was to force out the BKB of the Luna. They know that V-Gaming, they're relying a lot on those high second BKBs, and high second BKBs are gone. 9 and 8 down the drain, and TA 2000 isn't gonna be feeling that comfortable until he gets a Skadi. So dodging the team fights not gonna be the easiest now for V-Gaming, and even if they continue to do so, the Morphling will have an Aghanims in no time, and having 2 cows charging you at the same time, trampling the entirety of your team, it's gonna be tough to deal with. And we can see that CIS Rejects, now they want to make something happen, know that the BKB is down, they know that V-Gaming are not gonna be on top lane in full force, so they're trying to get someone here that is gonna be out of position, but in the end, they'll just make sure that they're controlling this top part of the map and that Luna can't get massive amounts of farm.
If you got 2 cows running towards you, you might want to try and look your way to the closest fence and try to hide and get on the other side. That's just a reality at some point here for the Morphling. Now, money for 1 piece. 4.2k needed, 1.6k done, so 1/3 of the way. Getting to finish off this tier 2 tower with ease. Still 1 minute, 40 seconds on Aegis. Morphling having a second life. Let's see if CIS Rejects wants to force the aggression with the help of that Aegis, or do they continue farming and gaining control or looking for an opening? Pasha has cut down the mid wave with the help of that Shadow Blade. They don't see the Spirit Breaker. Ramses being X-marked, trying to get a kill on this tower in the mid lane. Get it. It's 2 quick towers.
That's just a good show that CIS Rejects, this team has the potential, looking at their players of course, but has the potential to go tier 1. Why? They are making some mistakes, but they are always kind of looking to improve their gameplay in the game itself. Like, okay, this isn't working, let's try something else. Okay, this isn't working, let's try something else. We try to brute force down the mid lane tower, not gonna be happening. Let's go to the top lane, the positioning there is gonna be easier for us, and then we will, from the top lane, when it's in full control for us, we will take down the tier 1. So they're just trying different moves, and at some point this team is gonna click, and they're gonna know what to do, the perfect move every single time. V-Gaming, they know that their timing is kind of going out, the Aegis is expiring, and with the smoke, they'll try to surprise CIS Rejects. It is a little bit early, but in my mind, the perfect timing to catch the Morph off guard.
I also agree. I don't feel like CIS Rejects necessarily read this move coming in from the back. They're expecting them to defend the high ground, maybe even try and gank from the side. But look at this positioning from CIS Rejects. FNG is already popping smokes without him knowing, but now they see the Abaddon and they've realized he's probably somewhere in the trees over here. He's trying to TP out, and there's the Yules to cancel it. And again, Gyrocopter is just doing work of the gods here. It doesn't matter that he dies, because his work here is done.
Just a little bit more confidence from V Gaming there to go straight up to the high ground. They should have understood that they are super strong, but they went for the long wraparound, thinking that CIS Rejects won't see it coming, but at some point it will become too long. But now Pasha in some trouble, still gonna be okay.
Yep, it's gonna be fine. Cold Snap doesn't really do much during Bulldoze. Very interesting interaction, by the way. Like, when you usually put Bulldoze first and then have a spell cast on you for the status resistance, but Cold Snap, technically, every tick that happens in between is an individual spell on top of the original one. So that mini stun duration is it's barely even there. So you're able to fully run out back to safety, and that mini stun doesn't even hinder you at all.
Yeah, at least he can't charge away, you know.
At least
but
he can't
Invoker
charge
naturally, Invoker is naturally a pretty solid hero against the Spirit Breaker, given that he can purge off the Bulldoze with a.
And they found the
with a
gyro
tornado.
again. We've seen this story before.
FNG he's like a punching bag, this one. I don't know if you remember the Simpsons episode when Homer boxed. I kind of feel like it's like that one. He's waiting for V Gaming to get all tired, and it seems like it is taking away their gold bit by bit, and CIS Rejects, they're regaining their gold lead.
You say Simpsons, I say South Park. I feel like he hasn't heard that the bell has already rang, and he still keeps on going.
Yeah.
He's already bloodied and bruised, but he continues to take a beating. And Toa,
I didn't hear no bell.
I didn't hear no bell, exactly. Lays, he's in the front here. He's getting whipped by Antoa. You go, Timber, you're the fast guy. But there's nobody to be found. Only 6 kills for CIS Rejects, but at least during those 6 kills, Morphling has picked up 1/3 of those, has been unkilled so far. 325 CS, looking at the Kunkka as well, 306. And if you look at these numbers on the board, that's a whole lot more than the Invoker and the Timber saw. So that is where they put their strength in. We're looking at a Silver Edge soon on the Kunkka. That's going to start dealing a really big dent into V Gaming. And that Aghanims. You've got the money for it, but this Morphling Courier is going to be spotted by Hayes under a ward. Can they get this one? No. He's got the Aghanims on the Morphling, and this is a perfect timing. It couldn't be better for CIS Rejects. Onto the Timber Saw they go. Spirit Breaker being controlled at the back line. Laze is already gone. Navy Pasha falls too, but his Mana Burn at least has been killed completely with the EMP TA2000. He's being pushed around, shoved around. The X-Mark fails, because they try to force the BKB off of him, but they don't get it. And Toa, meanwhile, he's found, he's dusted, he's getting blown up and torn to pieces as Pasha finishes the charge. And it could not have been a better timing for CIS Rejects. Aghanims literally in your hands when the enemy shows up.
Yeah, very important silence coming out from Roger in that fight. You know, the Abaddon, he gets stunned up, he can remove it with the Burrow Time, but the silence, it doesn't allow him to do so. Also, the break into a silence, they can kill him without him getting his spells off. And I think that CIS Rejects, you might look at his Timber and think like, we're gonna kill him with the Silver Edge, but I think the Abaddon is much better. Hit him with the break, silence him, and make sure that the defensive hero on V Gaming isn't there. If he's not there, this Morphling and the Kunkka, they're gonna be so much more powerful. They'll be able to finish off the heroes, and also the damage from the Skyrit Mage will be that much more potent. So I'm actually loving that Roger went for the silence there on the Abaddon. He knows what his job is in those fights, and CIS Rejects, they'll get an easy win. Still, all of these fights are on the defensive. To win a game, you need to win a fight on the enemy part of the map, or at least close to the river, so that you're able to transition that into objective. For now, CIS Rejects not able to do it, and V Gaming still continuing to fight on the opponent's part of the map, which is something I really do like from these guys.
Smoke has been detected. They know that they're coming depressed. Kid is right under them, but they don't know about the Kunkka. Now they do. Sentry placed down. The Tornado will connect onto the Kunkka. He's still got his BKB remaining too, so he will be fine for now until it removes the shield. The Invoker, Pasha, tries to find Arrow. TA2000 with the Eclipse. They're going to try and blow up this Spirit Breaker. He's left all alone. The boat will connect too, but the BKB already forced down and they're running away. They've only left one hero down, and they are running out of resources on BKB. They charge back in onto the Abaddon. Abaddon has an ulti available. Ramsey's in the middle of the fight. He's going to try and move himself back to safety. Lays on the chase. They will go for the buyback on the Spirit Breaker. TA2000 now finding himself a Gyrocopter. Make that death number 9 for FNG. But the buyback from Pasha. At least they got something out of it, but it looks scary there for V Gaming for a second, because they were only getting 1 kill with everything being spent there.
But still, they do manage to win a fight. They are able to connect quite nicely there. And CIS Rejects, I think they need to be using their mobility a little bit better. The Spirit Breaker, he can be anywhere on the map, just split pushing as much as he can. Though V Gaming for now, they're doing a great job. They're playing on the opponent's part of the map, so even when they lose a fight, they immediately go there. They're not afraid to fight. They know they're not reliant on any cooldowns, but then again, neither are CIS Rejects. So both of the teams kind of trying to use that to their advantage. But I think that CIS Rejects, they might try to change their approach right now, because as I said, they have been known to adapt in this game, and that's why they've always been able to come back. This is not a big deficit for now, but V Gaming in terms of map control, they are the ones in control of this game fully right now.
Roshan is also spawning now, so Spirit Breaker has gotten back into the game. Sorry, not the Spirit Breaker, the Gyrocopter has respawned back by the time Roche has respawned. They've got information on it now. Morphling already split pushing bottom, so that did help out CIS Rejects with the timing, that Roche wasn't up as soon as that team fight ended. So they've been able to get themselves some map control back. And Spirit Breaker, you have to keep this in mind. If Pasha dies, he's gone for a long time because of the buyback penalty.
Yeah, they might keep it a little bit more defensive right now, especially when they see the Aegis on the enemies, plus the Aghanim Shard on the Luna. That's going to be a big influx of gold. So Pasha, we could expect him not to want to fight until he gets a BKB. And on the bottom lane, Kunkka has been caught. This is most likely going to be a kill.
Grip is there. FNG is not able to save him. FNG is not able to save him. And they don't get the TP cancel either. He's able to teleport away.
I think this is the saddest survival of FNG, or the only survival of him, but the saddest move that he had made into enemy territory. You know, he does make it out alive, but the problem is that his Kunkka dies in front of his eyes, and he just can't give his life away for it. FNG really doing a solid job giving info to his team, but this time around, his Kunkka was just a little bit in front of him, and again, V Gaming are on the side of CIS Rejects.
Roger's been caught. Glimmer, they've got the gem on the Timber Saw, or they got the gem on the Invoker even. They're gonna be able to hunt that one down. Still, no Kunkka, 30 seconds. Can't afford a buyback currently. He needs 150 more gold. So if they're able to get a tower, if they're able to push down that tier 3 tower, then maybe. Luna's lost half of her HP, but he's getting healed up. He's got a salve, and they also have an Abaddon just dishing out continuous miscoils. While the tier 3 tower is falling, Pasha is keeping up the push. Ramsey's getting a bit of damage with the flak cannon, but they're gonna connect on top of the Morphling, and Ramses is gonna go down. He was not suspecting that to happen at all. He's been got off scot-free throughout this entire game, and this time he was not prepared for it at all. Top racks are falling inside the base of V Gaming, but they're looking for a second lane already here inside the CIS Rejects base, and no Ramses for 60 seconds, Harry.
Yeah, no Ramses, and this is going to be a second lane of Rags. They can't end the game, but they might want to force the issue, being like, let's force the Morphling buyback. They don't have the glyph, but V Gaming, it seems like they're going to be content with this one. The press kit trying to keep them in place there a little bit on the top lane. We see Pasha will get a Rax of his own, so at least something, or will he? Hayes comes in and he will defend it.
Yep, he does get the melee Rax in the end, and look at the roar. The cow is roaring, and Pasha is going for the charge out, and he's also going to make his way back to safety. Cancels his charge for now because V Gaming are trying to intercept, but he's already gone back home. So he scores a lane of Rax. He gets something for CIS Rejects. That is the lane that is still missing from their base, so at least it slows down the push by a tiny bit. But losing 2 lanes, losing the Morphling there, another one of those, and it's GG.
Yeah, Luna is just so powerful right now. Still 2 minutes on the Aegis. The top lane of Rax, it's not gonna stop V Gaming from taking out all of the outer towers. Then CIS Rejects are gonna be in their base.
Yep,
so I'm expecting them to smoke right now. Get out, because they have to protect it.
Their plan is so clear. They just know exactly what to do right now. They only got 1 lane to go. They've got a 2-minute timer on the Aegis. Bottom is pushed in, mid is pushed in. It's the perfect timing for V Gaming here to force the attention from CIS Rejects on the high ground too. They don't have vision that deep. They don't see what's going on, but they see at least the Kunkka in the back. The night vision provided by the Luna. You cannot forget about it. Pasha trying to go with the Nether Strike onto the Timber Saw. Can they kill Lays? No, they cannot. They can't get it. Ramsey is also going to force the Manta out as well. He's got that Satanic, but he needs to get a good position for himself. They've got the Call down coming in too. They've got the Fiend's Grip. They've got Ramsey's in the Fiend's Grip, but they can't get the kill on the Morphling. Yes, they can. They finally do. FNG is also down, and the Hunt's under press kit. They can't get the Kunkka to safety, and V Gaming, GG is called. They have done it. They have crushed it. They have succeeded in taking down CIS Rejects and causing them their first loss.
Yep, and in what a fashion, to be honest, in what a fashion. They actually played their lineup really well from start to finish. The lanes might not have gone as they expected. They lost way too much in the beginning, but overall, every single timing that they had, the Luna BKB, the Luna Butterfly, their Invoker constantly just running in, the Abaddon playing defensive, and he did die a few times. Those were the fights that CIS Rejects won, but other than that, they were kind of helpless. As I said, they were evolving through this series, but definitely not fast enough, because V Gaming, they had a clear vision of how to play this one, and CIS Rejects, it seems like they weren't 100% sure.
They were farming really good, but was that the real goal for them here? Was it FNG giving all that space, all that information? Was it all for naught? Because Ramses was in such a great start. Same thing for Depressed Kid. They even hit their item timings in a couple of fights, but still felt so diminished and felt like they were lacking so much control, because Bane still got some really good Fiend scripts off. I think that's just a hands down for Anto and Arrow, just playing a really good support duo here in this game. When they were not supposed to get any abilities off, they got everything when they needed to.
Yeah, this is the problem when you're not using your timings that well. As I said, minute 8 to minute 15, that's when CIS Rejects should fight. They only fought around the 15-minute mark, delaying the Luna BKB a little bit, but not by enough. They were farming well, but not using their timing there. Then, when the Luna BKB became low, they needed to fight at that point, but they didn't. It was actually V Gaming forcing the issue on the enemy part of the map, losing some fights, winning some fights, in the end securing the Roche for them, and getting that big team fight with the Luna, having the Roche. So one team using their timings perfectly, and the other just not being there at the right time. FNG, he did create a lot of space, and I think CIS Rejects, they had the info to make this one happen, but they just didn't do it, and because of it, they're gonna be dropping a game here to V Gaming.
V Gaming coming out with a surprise here, taking the first game against CIS Rejects, also causing them their first loss during the course of this EEU DPC in Division 2. What's going to happen in Game 2? Can't die to wait to see what's going to happen in that one. We'll take a tiny break, and we'll be back in a few minutes for the second game of CIS Rejects and V Gaming here with T-Panda and Harry Freak on the cast.